martyrdom and
Hallo, assalamu alaikum. Good morning. Khush Amdeed. जी आया हूँ goedemorgen Isparta.
Bukhair Agale, Ni Hao, Juna Shumme, Washmale, Ohio, Gonzaimus, Guten Morgen, Ola, Bujor, Privyet, Kaifahal, Hale Shuma Chatore, Ahlan Vasal, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Bali Kereya. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for tuning into PTV World. You watching World this morning. Alongside the very fantastic, the very amazing, the very superb, the very intelligent, the very to look after. Shiza Hashmi and I happen
Oh.
to be Shizad Hassan Khan. Hello Shiza, Assalamu alaikum. How are you doing?
Walaikum assalam. I'm doing
You're
great.
sitting
Thank you.
too far away.
I know. How do you find the change?
I think I feel great, and it's because of the fact that at times we were so kind of
Restrictive, sort of.
restrictive and reserved as well, with our hand gestures that we knew that we had little space to each other.
Now we have one shoulder distance,
Yeah,
guys.
but I think that I feel great, ladies and gentlemen, and I think that you feel great as well.
Yeah.
But other than that, Shiza, before we get started, and everybody who are actually kickstarting their day with us, I would love to thank you, Jamshed Saab, Hasnan, the entire team over here at PTV World for kind of supporting me because I was away, I was in Muzaffarabad, I was working on another project, and my team, ladies and gentlemen, made me feel like as if they have got it all covered, and I was able to perform at my best as well. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Jamshed Sultan Saab, Hasnan, and everybody who's out there.
Well, you don't have to say thank you first of all. Of course, we missed you. But I think you went for a greater cause. This was the first ever KPL,
yes.
Kashmir Premier League, and this is what Azadi is all about. I absolutely love it. Well, first of all, I don't like the fact that we have PSL and KPL.
Okay.
Maybe they can be one thing in the future. This is for all the concerned people. But yes, I'm so happy you got to host the opening and the closing ceremony.
Yeah, alhamdulillah.
So, how was the experience, first of all? And do you think it's going to go on like it's a permanent thing now?
Obviously, and the best, obviously it's going to be a permanent thing as well. And first things first, I'll answer, since you said that,
Okay,
you do
PSL
not
and-
like that there's PSL and then there's KPL as well. So imagine that, in all of Pakistan, we have a different government setup, and then in Kashmir, we have a different government
Yes.
setup where it's all independent.
Yeah.
So obviously, the thought was behind to actually kind of let the world know that over here in Azad Jammu Kashmir,
Okay.
everybody has freedom to do whatever they want to do,
That's
which is why
brilliant.
hence the slogan. Khelo Azadi se. But other than that, I think my experience was beyond amazing, and it's because of the fact that everybody pulled in. In the final match, it took me 2 hours to even get into the stadium. It was so rushy.
Wow.
And the overwhelming experience of people was something which we wanted to share with the audiences as well. And congrats to Lala, their team won the first ever, the inaugural season of SRG KPL as well. So, I think that, everything's in the right direction.
Yes,
Not just that, they have even announced another team. So there's going to be 7 teams in the next season.
Wow.
And now
And
what they've
it's a
done
lot
is,
for the first
yes,
one
and now
already.
there's going to be another K20 league as well, which is just going to focus primarily on the Kashmiri people and the Kashmiri players as well. Where, in Kashmir Premier League earlier, every team was supposed to actually have 5 Kashmiri players
Okay.
from the same origin so that we actually give them that platform. Wonderful. Now what they're doing is that there'll be a K20 league, which is actually going to take place in Azad Jammu Kashmir, and only Kashmiris will be able to participate in it. And then they're
Wow.
actually coming up with high performances centers as well, and then they're
Brilliant,
building up
brilliant.
academies, facilities are being developed over there. And here we are, letting the world know that, that we can play with Azadi, and that's what it is. And it was beautiful, yeah.
Yeah,
How did
just-
you manage? How was it without me?
Well, of course, it was sort of hard because we both are the anchors of this ship. But well, let bygones be bygones because I think next time I know we'll definitely manage it sort of better. But
Don't worry, somebody else is going to Muzaffarabad as well.
oh yeah, but it's on a weekend. Anyway, you guys, I really hope today happens to be great for all of you. And the only thing I always tell you, please make sure to start your day with a very healthy plate of breakfast. Does not have to be teen parathe and a lot of chane with a lot of oil, but it can be anything healthy. Even one fruit for that matter can make a big difference. And I tell you guys all the time, I start my day with 2 to 3 dates at least. And well, sometimes people don't believe me, but I think it's a healthy option.
Oh, that's
I'm
wonderful.
advocating for that now because I'm one of those people. If I wasn't, I would never advocate.
Because she just recently started eating. That's what it is. Because otherwise,
Oh,
I would
yeah.
always, this is one thing in our office.
I was
and that
going
is
through some.
that this was And this is something which we always talked about as well, that, you know, that there's not been a single day that I've left my place, you know, without breakfast, thanks to
Yeah.
my mother, alhamdulillah. And even while she wasn't around, you know, we actually went to McDonald's to get breakfast
Yeah,
as
we
well,
did.
because I cannot survive hungry, you know. So for
That's a
me,
good thing.
breakfast is the first ever thing of the day, and I look forward to it even before I sleep the last night. So, you know, I'm like, okay, मैं सुबह नाश्ते में
That's so
what am I going to
cute.
eat? You know, so this is what it is. But other than that, ladies and gentlemen, there's a
It's
very important thing which we need to talk about today as well, because it actually happens to be the 50th martyrdom anniversary of our national hero pilot, Mr. Rashid Latif Saab. He's always
Rashid Minhas.
in our prayers. Rashid Minhas Saab as well. He's always in our prayers, ladies and gentlemen. And the way, the courage, the bravery, I think he's an example in himself as well. And, you know, for the people to come, obviously we're going to learn, because that gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, sacrificed his life for the cause of the motherland, for the freedom of our motherland as well. And there's something which we can never forget about our heroes, and that's what it is. So for everybody who's out there, we hope that you remember him in your prayers as well. Mr. Rashid Manas is
Definitely.
one of those people who've been an example ever since we were growing up. I think I always had this dream of becoming a pilot because of the fact that there was Rashid Minhas Sahab and his stories of valor as well. So please make sure that you remember our heroes as well, and remember their families in your prayers, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. Shazad, where you said that you were inspired by him, and I think credit's due where it's due. It was PTV even back then which used to create documentaries around national heroes, right? And this was one of the films every year which used to be premiered. And I think us being kids at that time, growing up watching these kind of films, did sort of, what's the word, reinstigate the spirit of patriotism and nationalism in us as well. And I think it was because of such heroes that we wanted to do something for the country. So, well, hats off to them as well. Of course, there's no question in the efforts they did put to make Pakistan what it is today.
Exactly, and it just made me nostalgic, because every 6th of September, you know, our parents would actually make us sit down in
To
front of
watch one of
PTV
the
and you watch all of those documentaries as well. And this is still something which I can recall, that, you know, just because of him being an amazing pilot, an amazing human, an amazing person, and, you know, the documentary itself was so inspiring that I always wanted to be a pilot. I even went for the entrance
Yes,
exam, but there were
something with
4
your
subjects which
eyesight.
no, first of all, so what we did was, it was me and my younger cousin. We actually wanted to go to a school where they would actually give us the pre-education, and then obviously you go for the actual exam. But we couldn't qualify for the school as well. There was
Oh,
this one school in Lower Topa. We couldn't qualify, you know. So it was 4 exams you were
oh,
supposed to appear
something's
in.
wrong.
I failed in 3. My cousin failed in all 4 as well. So yeah, so the dream of becoming a pilot stayed there. But then I did took flying lessons. You know, I
Okay.
flew a Cessna, you know, twice or thrice as well, and that's pretty much about
Nice.
it.
Okay, so first of all, first things first, I think something's wrong with my hair, but moving on, you know.
Yeah.
I think about what we are talking about in the first segment. So first of all, I'll tell you sort of a bit of premise over here. So Instagram, social media is a thing, and I think everyone is all about their looks today.
Yes.
Does not matter what the reality of their life is. It has literally become a visual uh, I don't know, the public sphere is a visual medium now. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's how you sort of judge each other and look at each other. And just yesterday, I was looking at an article which was comparing Audrey Hepburn to someone older from this generation.
Okay.
And they were actually sort of comparing how they were both aging. Because if we go back to last century, of course, well, there were procedures and everything,
Yeah.
but those procedures were something that only celebrities would get, and it wasn't so common for the normal man to go through probably some sort of cosmetic surgery or plastic surgery for that matter, and whoever did was a controversial figure, right?
True.
But now it's so common. If we look at normal societies, not even celebrities, people who belong to a normal walk of life, they feel like this is an essential part, looking good, appearing good. And I don't mind that. I mean, as long as it's making you feel good. So I think, yeah, go on.
I think I have another side to talk about, and that is that, you know, one way or the other, I don't think that people like to age. You know, this is one thing I would actually talk about as well. And, you know, they would, and I keep on saying, and we keep on talking about that as well, that they wouldn't spend 500 or 1,000 rupees on a sunblock, but would actually go and spend a fortune, you know, on getting all the aesthetics done onto their
Because
face and whatnot.
naturally, some people have
But
different.
imagine that the techniques have actually went so far and beyond that people are actually replicating themselves as Barbie dolls, Ken dolls.
Oh, that's sick.
You know, people
Sorry.
who actually wanted to look like Kim Kardashian have gotten so many surgeries done that they now actually look like Kim Kardashian.
Everyone looks
You
the
know,
same.
so I think that I do not know whether the direction is right or not, but wherever it's needed, ladies and gentlemen, there are new techniques which are coming in That's what we have picked up on. Earlier people were talking about veneers, people were talking about aesthetic surgeries. A lot of people get their nose done. I don't know whether we call it rhinoplasty, I think probably. Then
Yes, I
people are
guess.
getting their chins done as well, hair transplants, and everything is there. So if you're young at heart, you can still be young as well, and you can look young as well, but all
It's
you
all
need to
about
do
your
is kind of
personal
spend a lot of
choice.
money on it if you're willing to do so. But we'll be talking about all of these aesthetic surgeries which are available these days as well. We have an amazing couple over here in the studios who have actually brought in some latest technology from Beverly Hills as well. We'll be talking about that. How are they coping up well or are not? This is something which we want to talk about, whether people should get all of these treatments, because one thing I know about these
Yeah.
treatments is
They're
that
not
one, if you get a Botox, after every 6 months, you're probably getting another Botox as well, because it's not going to stay forever. So do we have any replacement for that? We'll talk about PRP, we'll talk about PRF, we'll talk about aesthetic surgeries. So let's kind of dive into it. Are you ready?
Let's do it. But before we introduce these amazing, amazing people, we have a small package of all the work that they've done. It's going to include some multimedia, well, videos and pictures. Let's take a look at it, and when we come back, we'll definitely throw them some questions from that. Let's do it.
Plasma fibroblast therapy targets fibroblasts. These are collagen and protein producing cells in dermis, the layer of skin just below your outermost skin layer. Fibroblasts play an important role in helping skin wounds heal as well as maintaining skin firmness and tightness. Plasma fibroblast therapy uses a pen-like device that discharges a high-frequency electric current to small areas of the skin. The plasma tip doesn't directly touch the skin but instead releases a targeted current just above the skin. The hot current creates small holes or micro-injuries in the skin's layers. It is important to talk to a healthcare provider prior to the procedure to discuss your treatment goals and any potential concerns you may have given your overall health condition.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's dive into it. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by somebody who happens to be a cosmetic dentist, smile makeover specialist, and he is Dr. Hashim Iqbal Bhavani. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Guys,
Absolutely perfect. Thank you very much for joining us. It's
thank you
wonderful
for
to have
having
you.
us on the
Thank
show.
you very much, for kind of joining us all the way from Karachi as well. Wonderful.
It's an honor.
We
Thank
take
you.
honor in it as well. Alongside Dr. Hashim Iqbal Bhavani, ladies and gentlemen, his other half. We're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a general dentist, a facial esthetician. She happens to be Dr. Hani Hashim Bhavani. Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning.
Walaikum assalam, good morning, and thank you for having me. It's so nice to be here.
Thank you very much for joining us. It's
pleasure,
wonderful
our
to have you. And we kind of talked about it earlier as well, that with you we're going to talk about PRP and PRF. So very quickly, before we move on to you, let's move on to Dr. Hashim. So Dr. Hashim,
Yes.
we're talking about aesthetics today, and everybody kind of loves it, no matter how their life is off Instagram or Facebook, the way they want to appear on Instagram and Facebook is the way that they're actually enjoying their life. And it's just
Exactly.
because of the looks they have got as well.
True that.
So how much people are into it as of now? And when we talk about latest technologies, what do we have to offer?
Basically, when you look into facial aesthetics, you're defining a person's personality. You're defining a lot of things and emotions that brings into, and the way they talk and how they appear on their journal life. So aging is a process that you cannot stop. It's just like a ticking clock. But you can do certain improvements, do certain procedures. Now, the innovation technology, we can do non-surgical procedures, non-invasive procedures these days that have an instant result with limited downtime and can produce desired results and give a perfect outcome for patients that are looking for non-surgical procedures such as facelift, Botox, fillers, replacing surgical procedures that had a longer downtime. So innovative technology has brought us to this point that we can do instant procedures with quick results.
What kind of procedures are we talking about over here?
We're talking about plasma fibroblast treatment today. This is a newest technology that we were proud to first one to introduce in Pakistan. It is done with the Plexer laser machine. So what exactly it does is basically done for an overall skin tightening, whether it's your forehead, whether it's your under eye bags, your hooded eyes, just to remove the excessive skin over the eye, which causes the dropping of the eye, and a lot of different procedures such as double chin, say for your tightening of the overall neck, for scarring, and a lot of different procedures.
All right.
Okay, that's brilliant. So would you say that this newer technique, now that it's non-invasive, is sort of going to replace, well, Botox injections or similar stuff?
It has a complete tendency to do that because Botox has to be
Replaced
done
every-
exactly
yes.
because it lasts for 4 to 6 months.
Uh-huh.
So if the patient has a tendency to go for permanent solutions these days, so that they don't have to come in a regular basis after 6 months to get their Botox done, or if they're not present physically here to get that particular treatment, if they're flying from abroad, that varies from patient to patient.
Okay.
So basically, plasma fibroblast treatment replaces Botox in the sense it tightens the overall skin and lasts for 2 to 3 years.
Okay,
So, yeah, and the
okay.
downtime is only a week, so that there are going to be a little bit of spots that are going to diminish away over the period of time. The only thing you need to do is apply a little bit of sunblock and take care of it. That's it.
Well, that
Good to
does
go.
sound easy and brilliant.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
does.
really know how it actually is. But yes, of course, I think it's good to have an option, right, where you said that things were sort of not permanent before, like in
True
terms of
that.
injections as well. And that would actually bother people like me, just thinking about it too. But moving on to you, Dr. Hani, what are some of the most common procedures that people are now coming to you for? And by those procedures, I mean something that is a part of our daily life, not necessarily cosmetic based.
If you ask me what's the procedure people are getting on a daily basis, that's more PRP. That
Okay.
PRP is a very common procedure in my clinical practice. Like people come for their hair regrowth because a lot of people these days have hair loss due to
So
stress,
let's
due
talk
to
about
hormone release.
PRP. Is it only for the hair? What
No, it's
can
not
PRP
only for
do?
your hair, but when we do it on the scalp, we promote hair regrowth, we stop hair fall, we nourishes your hairs, and when we come for the skin,
Okay.
it has multiple benefits. Like we can do it for anti-aging, scarring, skin rejuvenation, dark circles, fine line wrinkles, name it, we have the solution with the PRP.
Okay,
Because it
great.
has growth factors and healing properties, exactly.
Alright.
And we promote collagen with that. Collagen is a protein layer, like it is beneath
Under
your
the skin.
skin. Yeah, it makes over 3 amino acids. So it promotes that. And for skin, we do it with Dermapen. Dermapen is the pen. It has multiple needles in it, and a very thin needles, like 36, 42. It depends what we are doing.
Okay.
So it just
already hurts my face.
no, it is not gonna hurt your face at all.
Okay.
It's just that we numb your face. The process is first we take out your blood, and then we centrifuge it. We separate the plasma from it,
Yeah.
and then we numb your skin for about 25 to 30 minutes. We apply the numbing cream on your face, and we cover it, so that you won't feel anything. It's a painless procedure.
Okay, so just because I'm so curious about it, I just want to ask whether does it have any correlation with stem cell therapy as well? Because these days a lot of people are getting stem cell therapies as well. So, is PRP or stem cell therapy in a way a likewise treatment?
I would say it's more or less the same thing.
Okay.
Because we are promoting the growth, we are using growth factors, we are promoting healing,
Yeah.
basically. And if you ask me what, if I'll come back to PRP again
Yeah.
with
Yes,
with the Dermapen.
Please, please.
Yeah, so Dermapen, we are just breaking your old cells and we are promoting new cell growth.
Okay.
In any area of your body, when we have the new cell growth, it's already healthier, plumpier, and in very good condition like we have before.
True.
So we can do PRP or microneedling for scarring and multiple other procedures.
Brilliant. So, so lately there's this concept of, it's been a year or two actually, not lately, there's this concept of a vampire facial on Instagram as well, where there's microneedling and your face is bleeding. Does that come under PRP?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
And then again, when you talk about the benefits, it's because you're sort of taking out the fresher layer of skin and killing the outer skin. Is that so in simpler terms or not?
Not the outer, but the inner. But we are working on the skin that's beneath your superficial layer,
Got
the
it.
dermal layer. Okay, we are promoting, basically the purpose of doing needling or vampire facial is the collagen.
Okay.
So we are promoting collagen growth.
Okay.
And we have different diets. We can do that to promote that in our daily basis. Not everybody can get microneedling on daily basis.
Yeah.
Right.
But if you ask me what we can do apart
Oh, we
from
have
that,
those
is
microneedling rollers these days.
Yes.
And
Are
I've
they
been
safe
putting-
yes, no,
They're safe.
And somebody
If you
kind of
know-
gave it to me as well. In fact, my sister
Did you
gave it
use
to
it?
me, for my hair after the transplant. She was like, just do this. There was this medicine which I was supposed to put in as well. But it hurt so much. I was like, I'm not using it at all. You just have to roll it and it's all needles.
But I usually don't recommend that to my
Okay.
patients because we have the bacterial issues. We can't sanitize it properly.
Exactly.
But you can use the new one and you can dispose it, but a lot of people don't do that.
Because
But
we're just using it ourselves. no?
yes, so I don't recommend that because proper sanitation it's not there,
It's
and
important.
it's gonna harm you.
All right, but you know, I have another important question, and that is that, you know, obviously the technology has advanced, which is why we have you over here, where we're talking about latest technology. For people who kind of got to know about all of these fillers and Botox, you know, earlier, they kind of look very plastic these days. You know, just to get their natural look back, now they, God forbid, look like as if they've done something wrong to themselves over the period of 5 years, 10 years. You know, there are so many elderly women on television every single day that I know for sure that they look plastic. And I'm sorry, not just only elderly, you know, there are a lot of actresses who now have started to look very plastic. You know, once you get the hook of it as well, it's like after
There's no
every
going
week or
back.
2
There's no
weeks
going
or
back.
3 weeks, you're actually going to the same doctor as well.
Right.
So with these latest technologies, with these latest interventions, do you think that we are going to get closer to our natural look, or are we going to get closer to our plastic look?
The goal is to get the natural look.
Yeah.
The purpose is never overdo something.
True.
The practitioner, whoever you're getting the treatment done from, should be well trained and should know what exactly is that you want. Say to achieve your desired result. It's not just like anybody walks in a clinic and says that I want a lip filler, I want a Botox.
Yeah.
We need to evaluate that particular patient or client, that whether it's applicable for that particular person or not, whether it's safe for that or not, whether it's going to achieve the desired results or not, or whether there are other substitution option or non-surgical treatments
Yeah.
that can be opted for that.
Yeah.
Okay.
you know,
This
I
is
wa-
our sign language. Please don't get
You
confused.
know,
Okay.
I want to ask now, you know, I
totally
think
sorry.
that it was very responsible on your behalf where you said that, you know, if somebody just walks in and says that we need a filler or a Botox, you really need to assess their condition.
Exactly.
And then only then you're going to probably do a treatment as well.
True.
But over here in Pakistan, I'm sorry to say, you know, people do not look like doctors, they look like shopkeepers, you know, because they want to sell their product every
I
time
would
somebody's
agree.
going to walk in. And I have an example to share. So I had a 17-year-old cousin. He wanted his chin to be done. He went
Perfectly
to the
fine.
doctor. The doctor didn't even ask him the second time, and he kind of operated on him. He went by himself. The next day we were looking for him. We went to police stations. We went to the hospital, and that's where we figured out that, okay, you know, he got his surgery done. So imagine
he
that,
safe?
yeah, alhamdulillah, he was safe, he was good. But imagine that the doctors or the hospital didn't actually had an SOP in place where he was supposed, because he was a minor, and he was supposed to actually ask his parents and whatnot, but the
Exactly.
doctors did the treatment. So, you know, I mean, we might not get doctors like you who are actually so considerate about the fact that whether you need it or not, but who needs it? Okay, let's figure that out. Who needs it?
Basically, people who start seeing the aging process over their facial surface or anywhere on the body. Say if you're above 30, it's the better process is to start maintaining your skin, right? Taking care of your skin by applying different products and hydrating your skin, applying any moisturizer, applying a sunblock whenever you're exposed to sun to prevent further skin damage or pigmentation. So this is the initial process, how you can prevent further and prevent the aging process. And which people, just like your question was, who should get it and who should not get it. So yeah, that is a personal opinion first of all, whether it's a personal choice, whether you want it or not. Second, whether it's your need, whether if it's your face, whether you have hooded eyes, whether you have wrinkles on your forehead, or if you have crow's foot on your lateral part of the
I
eye.
have them.
Yeah.
Crow feet.
Crow feet,
Something
Okay,
like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if you want to do it, get it your laugh lines, get it overall tightening of your face, you can get a different procedure.
Okay.
So yeah.
So,
there are-
and we're not going to look very plastic, or we're still
No.
going to look
We hope
natural?
It's just to get a little balance of the overall facial symmetry. If you say 100% symmetry is complete facial aesthetics, no. It's the balance of the symmetry and the asymmetry that needs to be looked into.
Makes sense.
So yeah,
that
that can produce desired results.
Wonderful.
Okay, well, that does make sense. Now, I actually really want to move on to all the dental expertise you guys have brought to Pakistan, and I have a lot of questions regarding that, and most of them are personal.
Yeah,
but
go ahead.
before that,
They're very common as well.
they're very common. as well.
Because one of my twins, you know, over here, my father keeps on telling me that you really need to get it balanced. I'm like, it's natural, man. Let me. own it."
Imagine in my teenage years, I did notice my teeth were wrong, and my parents are like, "Oh no, you're so cute, don't touch them." And now I have this TV job, and I feel like now I need to touch them. But okay, before we move on to the dental ones, my controversial question, yes, at 9:30 early in the morning is, Let's talk about Pakistan. It can be a celebrity, it can be any public figure. Who do you think has the most subtle treatment done to their face?
That
mean,
is
I
a
mean,
con-
name it. We
I
can't
mean,
name
technically
it.
they cannot name their
We
patient.
can't
yeah,
name
that-
it,
that
but
No,
it's
I'm
a
not saying
crime.
your patient. I'm saying anyone on Instagram even. Because you guys can tell if they have something done right.
I mean, I still remember.
Who
with
has
a-
the
with-
most subtle treatment?
With a lot of due respect, I mean, due respect, obviously, but everybody has seen Bushra Ansari's one eyebrow was up there and the other one was down
But that's
there.
natural.
we
I
came
have
across
It wasn't
unequal
natural.
eyebrows.
No,
I
it
have
wasn't, it was
unequal
way up
eyebrows.
there.
Okay.
It was
Even-
way up there. You know, there was this one program, she got it done, and her one eyebrow was here and one was here. So everybody kind of noticed it, but she braved it, and I think she did a great job.
Well,
because you need to pull it out for further 4 to 6 months until it wear off.
really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Botox has that particular because there's no antidote to that.
No, but then
If you get a wrong Botox, you need to pull it off
Carry
for,
it for 6 months?
6 months for it to wear off.
Yeah.
I cannot
So please
imagine
make sure
that.
that you do not get it somewhere where you can actually feel the difference. Okay, for example, eyebrows, mustache. Imagine you got one in both mustache, so one's here, one's here.
Yeah, I
So
love
you're gonna look funny as well. So I think coming back to teeth,
yeah. Oh, right. Well, that was a safe turn. Okay. Yes. Go
Yeah,
on.
teeth,
Let's
yeah.
talk about the dental treatments. First of all, which ones do you have available? Secondly, I think when we talk about the regular braces, that I want you to tell me the safest age to begin with the braces. And then there are so many different types. So for a person like me who doesn't want anyone to see my braces, do I have an option?
Yeah.
Whoever wants to begin first.
I would like to speak on that. So basically, the ideal age to get a braces or to go for a dental consultation for anybody to get that is after during the growth stage, whenever the growth stage is gonna cease. So that is between the 11 to 14 age.
Got it,
So
got
because almost all your adult teeth are gonna be present in your mouth until the late 13 and a half or 14. So that is the ideal stage. If you have a deficient jaw, if any of the jaw are smaller compared to the upper, you can have different appliances placed in your mouth that can bring forward movement of the jaw a little a bit forward, say, which can help in the getting a facial symmetry. Because mostly what patients we're dealing with comes after the age of the 15 or 16, say the growth stage has been seized already. So if there's a problem of the jaw, if there's deficiency of the jaw, which is either protrusion or retrusion, say, which is the placement behind or in the forward position,
Okay.
say, then they have no option of getting that particular appliance. So the only option left is the surgical procedure then.
And that's
Okay.
a maxillofacial surgery.
Maxillofacial
right?
surgery,
So
they
you
will
guys into
cancel.
it as well?
We have different doctors that carry it out because I'm personally a smile makeover specialist. I
Yeah.
deal with all the Hollywood smile makeover, whether it's through braces or
Why,
whether it's
what is Hollywood Smile Makeover?
Hollywood smile makeover is basically either if you have conditions where you can get it. First
Okay.
of all, if you have discolored teeth, if there's yellowing of your teeth, if they're perfectly placed gap between your teeth, so yeah, or if your tooth size is particularly smaller than your face or your jaw size. So yeah, so the balance of symmetry can be maintained by that particular treatment. So it
Right.
has a tendency to deal some of the treatments that can be dealt with braces and produce desired result at a lower downtime. If
Got
there's particular minor gaps that can be dealt with braces, it can also be dealt by smile makeover. Basically, there's semi crowns, Emax crowns, or zirconia crowns. There are different materials available in the market that cover only the facial surface of your tooth surface.
Okay.
Crown basically covers the complete surface from the lingual and the buccal side.
All
Yeah,
right.
the veneers cover the facial surface, the interior surface which you look at.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So minor reduction, which comes basically the two kinds of veneer, no prep, where minor reduction around 0.5 to no prep if we have particularly distributed space. So,
Okay.
yeah, or if it's a prep veneer, a normal description of 1 to 1.5 millimeter would be reduced or shaved off in order to replace the anatomy
Actual
and the function and the aesthetics.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we just knew that, well, for veneers, you have to grind your teeth and you have to, well, of course,
Yeah,
it's
but
a long
you
procedure.
definitely
You
have to
do,
do it. a
but
little
Yeah,
bit.
but then there are
Create a
different types of,
particular-
and need according
Exactly. Prep or no prep, that depends on the patient. On different, because every
Alright.
patient varies, every person varies because har kisi ki everybody's
Needs the-
genetics is different. What they adhere from their parents and how they present.
But this is one thing
Some
I do
people-
not get about veneers, and that is that, once you're going to have another layer on top of your teeth and it's going to stay there forever, what's going to happen to your teeth originally underneath?
to, it's gone, right?
I mean,
It's
there
not
might
gone
be a little
actually.
bit of problem
It's
with that.
covered by that particular
Yeah.
veneer.
Does that give us
I
the
mean, obviously a
option to
little bit of
remove the
bacteria is going to go in there. Yeah.
No, it's not like that. It's
Okay.
just that we
Pardon
trim
us
it.
our basic questions, but
Nothing
we'll.
to worry.
Yeah,
Bailing on
even,
her husband.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Go
no,
on.
no.
even after veneers, you need to get your scaling done to
Okay.
keep it protected, to keep it clean. There shouldn't be any plaque or calculus. If you keep that, if you want clean your skin, if you don't get scaling after every 6 months or a year or so, so you will get the bacterial accumulation, and it's gonna decay your tooth obviously
Yeah.
when you don't clean it properly.
Even the
Alright.
veneer ones?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you
But
need to clean your teeth regularly,
So
brushing
you
twice
really
a
need
day.
to go and visit your
flossing.
dentist, you know,
Yeah,
even
obviously.
even when you're going to get veneers, which is great and it's beautiful as well. So we've talked about PRF, we've talked about PRP, we've talked about everything aesthetic, right? And it's great. So I have two more questions, which
Please.
are not going to be directly related with your field. Number one, obviously for people like you know, you're very young people, and you know, over here in Pakistan, we have this habit of going to a doctor who should actually look very elderly every
I
time.
Ah,
agree.
it's a
I
thing.
agree. I
Every time we
agree.
visit them, and you know, we do not consider the fact that how well educated these youngsters might be, you know, or the latest technologies they're working on, and we still have our doubts as
Right.
Pakistanis. How do you cope up with that? Number one. And number
Perfectly
two,
fine.
you know, just going through your names is something I figured out that you guys are married, right? Dr. Hashim Iqbal Bawani and Dr. Hani Hashim Bawani. How did that happen towards the end?
Perfectly fine.
Okay, let's begin with the doctor wala.
Yes. So your first question.
Yeah.
So they are, because patient has a mindset of perceiving that the more older you are, basically,
Yeah.
the more
And
experience
do you
you
try
are.
to do that as well?
Basically,
to look a
what?
little older?
How can I manage that? Basically, I
How can
cannot.
you do that?
Exactly, I cannot put age on my face or
Yeah.
create different wrinkles.
Especially for somebody who's an esthetician.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So people do say that you might be young and all that, but it's just the counseling, it's just the treatment, and it's just a trust that people put into you after they talk into you, after they believe that they can get that desired results from you. So yes, then that is the right track that we are on.
Alhamdulillah.
Because
Number
if
two?
yeah, number the second question.
Yes.
Yeah. So about us.
Yeah, yeah.
So we got to know each other during our studying period,
Wonderful.
during our when we were doing our Bachelor of
Did you
Dental
really
Surgery.
study then?
Yeah, yeah, we did. We were good students. We actually were distinction holder, mashallah.
Oh, mashallah.
So we coped up with that, and we had a lovely time, and we got to know each other, and we tried to bring it forward in life.
So you
And now
tried to
we
know.
are established, alhamdulillah, practicing together and being supportive for each other.
Brilliant.
MashaAllah. And you know, I have so much more to ask as well, but there's another segment, ladies and gentlemen, which I believe is an important one as well.
course.
Thank you very much for being with
You're
us. It was
welcome.
Thank you
lovely
so
to
much
be
for
in
having us.
conversation with such amazing, beautiful, learned people as well. And we hope to see you around, inshallah. You know, so whenever there's more technology coming in, you know,
Sure,
let
sure,
us
of
know.
course.
You know, just call us up and we'll be like, hey, you know what, come
You're
over.
more than welcome.
And we're never going to ask you for free treatments too as well. You know, so for everybody who's out
Only
there.
because we don't need them.
Yeah, and I might, but yeah, we'll talk about that. But for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading out towards a short break. Once you guys will come back, we're actually going to talk about a very serious topic, and it has to do a lot with domestic violence. So
Well, yeah.
let's talk about that.
Okay, stay
morning.
tuned. Good morning.
Ay Karbala, 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 ay Karbala. حسين مني وأنا من الحسين. Light of my eyes, Hussein, light of my eyes, love of my heart, you're the light of my eyes, Hussein, light of my eyes, love my eyes. Hussein.
शहीद करबला है ये, रसूल की दुआ है ये।
सिर्फ मुसलमान के प्यारे हैं हुसैन, जरखे नौए बशर के तारे हैं हुसैन। इंसान को बेदार तो हो लेने दो, हर कौम पुकारेगी हमारे हैं हुसैन।
हुसैनो मिन्नी व
Welcome back to Well This Morning, ladies and gentlemen. Jummah Mubarak yet again. This is Shazad Khan, and with him, I am Shaza Hashmi. Well, I do know you're looking at me because my tone is sort of changed, but that is because we're going to talk about something so
Serious.
Well, serious, yes, but it is so crucial to discuss it, and not just because it's happening a lot lately. I feel like it has been happening for a lot of time, but it's been reported a lot lately, which I think I feel like we're doing sort of misjustice to it in a way that if it wasn't reported, we wouldn't talk about it. So maybe we are even those people who should be questioned.
True.
But let's not do that today. In fact, let's just talk about it and let's just learn where such sort of atrocities rise from.
Exactly, and before we kind of speak any further and delve into the conversation, ladies and gentlemen, we actually have a small report, because under the umbrella of domestic abuse, ladies and gentlemen, child abuse is a bigger problem as well. Please go ahead, take a look at this report, and we'll be in conversation with somebody very amazing, the right person to talk about it.
Child abuse is not just physical violence directed at a child, it is any form of maltreatment by an adult which is violent, threatening for the child. This includes neglect. Neglect is the most common form of child abuse, which affects about 60% of child abuse victims. Neglect is defined as a parent or guardian fails to provide for the child's basic needs. Forms of neglect include medical, educational, physical, and emotional neglect. People often think that child abuse cases are something that happens in other families and other neighborhoods, but not close to them. But everyone should be aware that victims of child abuse comes from all socio-economic backgrounds, living situations, and races. Child abuse statistics show that over 1,500 children die each year in the United States from child abuse and neglect. In addition, 75% of fatal child abuse victims are under the age of 3 years old. Reportedly, girls are more often the victims than boys. Although children of all ages experience abuse and neglect, it is the youngest children that are the most vulnerable.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, so that was an overview to let you know what actually happens, and it's wrong at all levels as well, and we're going to talk about it, we were going to condemn it as well, but what happens and how can we stop it is something which we gather over here today, inshallah, right after the program. So very quickly, ladies and gentlemen, this gentleman happens to be an author and analyst. I mean, I still remember the unfortunate Zainab's case as well, where he wrote a book about the little angel and little princess and what happened. So without any further ado, we're lucky that we've actually been joined by Mr. Asim Nazir Sahab. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum salam and good morning.
Thank you very much for joining us. And one way or the other, I don't know how and why, but violence is on rise. And it's very unfortunate to kind of see or witness such things over here in Pakistan on a daily basis these days as well. What are the causes? Why do you think it's on a rise? Or do you think that it's actually because of the media that we kind of get to know about it more now? Or do you think that we were ignorant back then?
Shazad, let me tell you first that it's not only in Pakistan, it's everywhere in the world. And according to a recent research in United States, more than 700,000 cases reported in a single year. And out of those 700,000 cases, 65% is child abuse. So around 500,000 cases of child abuse in a single, in such a civilized country. So similarly, in India, there are around 40,000 cases and one rape case in every 155 hours. in India. So cases are very high. And similarly in Pakistan, around 3,000 cases reported in a single year, like in 2020. So my belief is, and as per my working and assessment, these cases are less than 5% of the total prevalence of this child abuse, less than 5%, because the people, they do not talk about it. It's a social stigma, and we do not have the mechanism where the parents and the caregivers should go and report this. Means we do not have mechanism. Means if anything is taken up by the media, then it becomes the talk of the town, and nobody wants that, because it hampers the career of the girls and the boys as well. So nobody talks about. So it's everywhere in the world. Now it has got the different forms. Means when we talk about the child abuse, it has got some other serious forms as well, like physical abuse. Now physical abuse, unfortunately, the parents and the caregivers and the teachers are involved in that. Means shouting and the reprimand and beating. So, and especially those childs which are involved in the child labor. So in working in the factories, in the workshops, in the grocery stores, they are every day they went through this physical abuse. And then comes the child abuse. As I already mentioned, it's statistics everywhere in the world. And another very important thing to talk about is that in the urban areas, it is just 30%, and 70% is prevalence in the rural areas. And yes, 70% in rural areas. And the reason behind is that still there is a joint family system, and mostly the fathers, they're out of the cities, out of the towns for their financial reasons, and they get back on weekly basis, or monthly basis, and a few yearly basis. And the mothers are usually illiterate. They cannot control that. And for every activity, for the schooling and for the mosque, for the religious teachings, and for the sports activities, they have to move out. They have to walk for miles, and then they become the easy victim. And one myth we have been listening that try to manage, and we were teaching the kids about the strangers. But the stranger danger. But the involvement of the stranger is just 10%.
So usually what you're trying to say is that it's half of the time the family members.
90% is the family members. Your cousins, the neighbors, the family members, the driver, the chefs, the people, the children, they get exposed to and spending most of the time with. So they are the people. 90% is with them, 10% there is involvement of the stranger.
Well, thank you so much for bringing that up, because I want you to now explain. Because when we talk about this 90%, I cannot wrap my head around the fact that someone who belongs to you, a child, Shahzad, even if it's not your daughter, even if it's your someone, I mean, if it's your goddaughter for that matter, your nephew, your niece, how can you think about that? And I'm talking about this because just, I think this was last night, I came across a video of a very small Afghan girl over the fence. So because when everyone, there's a refugee situation going on in Afghanistan, everyone knows what's going on over there. So in terms of, well, saving each other, and family members were trying to cross the border in the initial days. And this video, so the mother is trying to hand over the small girl to whatever armed forces personnel are on the other side of the border, just thinking it's going to save my daughter. Of course, I get that, the maternal instinct, you want the best for your child. But since then, I don't want to say I have been thinking negative, but since then, all sorts of things have been coming to my mind. We don't know what may happen in detention centers, or even in foster care for that matter, or even living alone on the street for that matter.
Or even in hostels,
Yes, it's everywhere.
So let's get to the mentality. What makes you that monster?
There are a few factors. The one thing is that the people that went through this child abuse, child sexual abuse in their childhood, they have the more propensity to repeat this. For the two reasons. One, they become the addict of that.
They get to know about it.
Yes, and the second reason is to take the revenge. Because once a children gets to this process, they have got so much of the behavioral psychological issues. So in order to take the revenge, so they are the people actually, they involve in child abuse, one thing. Secondly, the children are the easy victims.
They wouldn't tell anyone? They wouldn't complain to anyone?
Yes, they wouldn't complain anyone. And secondly, they're not aware, means a 4, 5 year, 6 year child is not aware of the fact.
What's happening to
what's
him
happening.
or her?
So they are the easy victims. And in most of the cases, you do not need a lot of finance. So those people who are directly involved with and exposed to those children on regular basis, like drivers, the chef, the guards, so you know the children become the easy victim for that. So that's the reason.
So how do we stop it? Is something we should actually we should emphasize more on. And how do we kind of keep a good check? You know, because obviously, you know, since you were very right when you said that, you know, due to financial reason, parents are busy, you know, they're out there, or probably they'll have more siblings, so the mother cannot pay attention to each and every one of them. It can be the neighbor, you said, it can be the driver, the chef, or anybody. And
The
we've
house
seen,
help even for
yeah, and we have seen some recent examples where people actually opened up in interviews as well, and majority of the time they actually said that it was domestic help which kind of abused them as well.
Yes.
So now, what do you think needs to be done to stop this menace?
The first thing is that we need to create more awareness. There must be the programs for the parents. We need to teach them. We
I
need
think
to
there should be
engage
more
them.
programs for kids as well.
Yes, we need to, yeah, and I would say that there must be, you know, something in their curriculum we need to teach them. As an international, let me give you my personal example. 3-4 years back, I was in somewhere in, you know, Switzerland or, you know, France somewhere, I couldn't recall, and we were watching a show. And very next to me, a very sweet girl was sitting with her mother, and I'm also having a very sweet daughter. And while sitting there for 30 minutes or more than 30 minutes, I just, in a very nice manner, I just touched that girl. She literally, 4 or 5 years girl, she, resisted, and she complained that to her mother. Yeah. And then her mother asked me, and then I explained all the reasons. So in the cases, both the parents and the children, they are so aware. So we need to teach the children. We need to bring this thing in their curriculum, and we need to, teach the parents as well.
Exactly, and this is something which I've done actually, and I've tried because Alhamdulillah, I've been blessed with 3 daughters myself, Alhamdulillah. So every time, somebody tries to come close to my daughters, I think every parent should actually, in the first place, ask for the permission to whether they, they can kind of go, because people over in Pakistan have this habit. Oh, kitna pyara bacha, gucci, gucci, gucci.
I hate it.
We do not want you to do that to our. We do not want you to do that to our kids. We are, as parents, can do it ourselves. And I've always been very kind of careful in making sure that, that I do not touch anybody else's kid without their permission too as well. So people, first of all, don't do that. And for all of those parents who are out there, please make sure that you do not allow anybody else to do that. Even if he's a chachu, mamu, uncle, or whosoever, please do not bother about that. But please make sure that your kids actually know. And I think that this is the best solution so far, where your kids know that our parents do not allow anybody else to touch it. So obviously they will know.
What is good touch and what is bad touch?
Yes.
Absolutely.
They need to know.
So how are you going to wrap it up? We want a message from you for everybody out there.
Message is that it's a mighty problem. We need to understand that we need to create more awareness. Whatever, we should not say that government should do everything. Means if you are in a show, if you're running this show, you need to talk about, if I'm a writer, I need to talk about.
Definitely.
We need to create more awareness on electronic media, print media, social media, everywhere. We need to talk about this issue. And this is the only way that by creating awareness, we can minimize this.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much for being with us. Lovely to be in conversation.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love the fact, Asif Nazir Sahab, that whenever you do come, you talk about qualitative content, and that is what we need as well. Ladies and gentlemen, this is our purpose over here, to raise awareness so that maybe eventually, inshallah, we can become a better society altogether. We'll see you on Monday next, inshallah. Until then, if you have any suggestions, feedback, ideas about what we should talk about next, write us on our social media pages, all with the name of
World This Morning.
Yes, and we now have a real Instagram page, that we are trying to update on a regular basis as well, with the name of
World This Morning, PTB World.
Definitely.
And the fabulous repeat is going to be at 5 past midnight. Till the next time, look out for yourselves. Remember us all in your prayers. 1, 2, 3. Good morning.
Take care.